Okay, today you're going to be able to get equations in slope-intercept form. I need you to memorize, well, I guess you don't really need to memorize because it's given to you on the MCAs, but slope-intercept means that the slope is first and then the intercept. It's this equation, y equals mx plus b. We've been dealing with it. We will be dealing with it for almost the rest of your 8th grade life. Okay? Slope is what's in front of x, and the y-int is what's after x. That is only when it's in this form. Once y is by itself, meaning y is the only thing on the left, then you can identify slope and y-intercept. So sometimes you're going to have to get y alone. Here's how we do this. This is where algebra comes in. The first thing you're going to do is move the x term. Get that to the other side. You only want y on the left-hand side. That's the only thing you want is y on the left. So you'll want to move the x, and then you're going to divide everything by what's in front of y. And then y will be by itself. So move the x, divide by what's in front of y. Move the x, divide by what's in front of y. That's what you do. Because again, our goal is to make it look like this. All right, so what do you think, before you translate it, a lot of kids think that the slope of this line would be -8, and they think the y-intercept would be 12. Can you relate to their thinking? The slope is what's in front of x. The y-intercept is what's ever after x. Well, let's analyze if your thinking is right. Is y by itself right now?
No.
No, it's got -8x and a 4 by it. So I'm going to move the x term. How do you get rid of -8x? Add it. So I'm going to add 8x to both sides. What do I have left on the left?
4y.
4y equals, now you want the x term first. So 8x plus 12. Don't combine them. They're not like terms. All right, so how do I get rid of that 4? I divide it. So I'm going to, everything, divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. Everything. So y equals 2x plus, what's 12 over 4? 3. And then I want you to be able to identify what is your slope. So what's the slope of this line? 2. And what's my y-intercept? Is it the same as what I initially thought? The MCAs is going to give you a question like this and say, what's the slope? Maybe you remember a question on the OPAs. What's the slope of this line? They're going to give you -8. They're tricking you. They know that most kids think that it's whatever's in front of x. That's not true. Look at, the slope is actually 2. You have to get y by itself before you can identify the slope. Okay. -2y plus 5x is -10. Is the y by itself? No. So I need to move the x term. How do you move plus 5x? Subtract 5x. -2y equals -5x. You want the x first. Why do I want the x first? Because the x is first in this equation. That's why I want the x first. -5x minus 10 or plus a -10. Okay? So I'm going to just say plus a -10 or minus 10, whatever you want. You always want to make sure the x just goes in front of that other number. Now how do I get rid of -2? Divide. Everything. divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. You should notice that this then cancels out. In a sec. My smartboard takes forever. And then you get y equals, the two negatives cancel out, so just 5 over 2x plus another two negatives cancel out, positive 5. So move the x term, divide by what's in front of y. Move x, divide by what's in front of y. Alright, I'm going to just finish up these last two problems so I can show you the most annoying video in the world, but my favorite.
How long is it?
Like 3 minutes.
Oh.
Okay, so remember, first thing, move the x term. So to move this, I'm going to minus 2x to both sides. That comes down. That cancels out. This goes in front of the 12. Okay, now I'm going to divide through by what's in front of y. Divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. So I get y equals, the negatives cancel out, 2/3 x plus negative 4. You have to remember, your main reason for this, you need to know the slope. This is why we're doing it. We're doing it so you can tell me what the slope is, and so you can tell me what the y-intercept is. So the slope of this line is 2 over 3, and my y-int is negative 4. Hey, what's going on with this last one? That's okay. I'll just move what I need to move. Goal is y by itself.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to move my 8 over quick. Negative 4x minus 2y equals negative 8. And now I'm going to move my x. How do you move minus 4x? Yeah, you add. You add 4x to both sides. And then I don't let this negative hide away. That's a negative 2y. Put the x in front of the other term. Divide through by what's in front of y. And I get, that cancels. This is negative 2x. And those cancel, so it's plus 4. Slope is what's in front of x, so negative 2 over 1. The y-int is what's after, which is 4. So before you close up here, I just need you to realize why we do this. The purpose of this is to figure out the slope and the y-intercept. That's the big aha.